positive energy. This is very important because I love to surround myself with positive energy. I sort of like the circle of positive energy, right? So any negativity, normally I don't talk to them, I don't meet with them, I stay away from them because you have to surround yourself with positive energy, and you'll find a lot of entrepreneurs are always super positive. Right? Because it's just, again, it's a mindset. And I hate taking taxis now, because taxi drivers are the most non-positive people, right? They're always complaining about stuff. So if you have friends or family that are always complaining, don't spend so much time with them. Right? Because you think about it, it makes sense though, correct? Because negativity, and you can, even when I'm faced with negativity, I somehow turn it into a positive. Correct? And it's kind of like when I moved here in 2010. Everyone told me my business wouldn't work and such things, but it's like, hey, then we just like, but I really believe in it that there's a value proposition here, unique value proposition. So, look at your friends and family, and there's a saying that your 5 closest friends, you're part of that circle. Right? So if your 5 friends, look at if they're successful and such thing, that's part of your circle. And most likely, if they're successful, they're very positive. So associate with positive people. Negativity is no good, especially for being an entrepreneur. So timing is everything. I mean, in life, in business, timing is everything. Right? You may have the best business idea, best execution, but the wrong timing, it's also going to be bad. Right? So I mean, if you think about it, even Groupon's business model started in like 2008. However, 10 years before Groupon started, there was another company called Mercado that did the same thing, right? And they raised a few $100 millions 10 years early. But at that time, there was no social media, right? So a lot of these types of, and they failed. After 3 years, they raised the earlier company called Mercado. They failed. So what that tells you is timing is everything, and you have to be able to capture that time because the opportunity doesn't wait for you, right? And it's the same case in 2010. Why I decided to move to Hong Kong was because of timing, because I saw how fast Groupon was moving in the US. They just raised 950 million USD. This was in February of 2010. I was like, wow, this is an awesome idea, right? Merchants win, customers win, company wins. And I knew that this business model would eventually expand overseas, right? And I also had a hunch that if Groupon raised $950 million, a lot of that would be used for international expansion because it would be too difficult for them to grow organically. So I moved to Hong Kong in 2010, in March of 2010. Remember, so after 1 month, I was like, I fell in love with the idea. So timing is critical for the business. Whatever you guys are thinking about, I mean, opportunities doesn't wait for you, right? So you have to catch the right timing, and a lot of times catch the wave in terms of what industry is going up. So, wow customers, all right? So, and I can't stress this enough, and this is why, Jack Ma, he has 3 philosophies, right? Customers first, employees second, shareholders last, correct? So customers is the lifeline and the blood of your company. So every time you have an opportunity to meet with a customer or to prepare a proposal for a customer, or even simple emails, it's an opportunity to sell your brand, sell your company, and sell what you stand for. So make sure that you're able to wow your customers and go beyond and extra-wise, right? It's kind of like what I mentioned earlier. When I had the furniture aspect, it's like when I flew to Hong Kong for 1 day, 6 a.m. and left at 12 a.m. That was very tiring, right? Or when I started YouBible, I didn't sleep for 3 days prior to the launch of our website because I wanted to make sure our customers get the best experience. All right, so. And I think a lot of people take this for granted, and that you just have a product, and then people will buy it. It doesn't work that way, right? Even if you have to be able to think for your customers. So a lot of times, what I try to do is teach my staff, how can we think from the customers? What do they want, right? Because you have to sell what customers want, right? A lot of times people ask me, it's like, hey, should I change my brand or my product for my customers? Of course you should. Why wouldn't you? Because your customers are always right. All right, so wow, and then also again, wow your customers, and customers will see that and see what value you are providing. And so start thinking about questions, because after this we have like some Q&A. So dare to fail, all right? So what this really means is that also no risk, no rewards, right? So dare to fail means that take that risk, take that leap of faith, right? And then dare to fail, because and you see from my aspects, I came from nothing, right? That's why I had to start working at age 15. So in every 3 to 4 years, I tend to get bored very easily. So that's why every 3 to 4 years, I change completely different industries, right? So I have a restaurant, my first business, hotel furniture. Now I'm doing biotech, right, which is very, very different. So I had a health fitness platform, so I also invest in many different companies. So if you're not aiming high enough, if there's not a possibility that you will fail, that means you're not aiming high enough. Because right now what I'm doing, I have a very high possibility to fail because it's not in my direct experience, correct? Right? Because I'm doing biotech, right? From e-commerce, what do I know about biotech, right? Realistically. But I do believe that, hey, if I'm successful, I can impact society on a big, big level. And this is my biggest challenge right now, what I'm doing currently. And that's what I want to be remembered for. So dare to fail and dream big, right? Because certainly the bigger you dream, the bigger risk it is, but the bigger reward you will have to provide to society and honestly to yourselves as well. Oh, this one I stole from like Nike, right? So, but I felt it was a good way to end it. Just do it, right? I mean, so a lot of times, it's, again, I mean, don't overcomplicate things. Certainly, you have to have an idea, but an idea is just an idea without the proper execution, right? So ideas are, I mean, a lot of people tell me ideas, but most of the time, 99% of the time, I don't pay attention to ideas because it's really about the team and how you plan to execute it, how much passion you have. Because anybody can come up with an idea, right? And a lot of times the people that have these ideas, they say, oh, I should have done that and such, right? So ideas are nothing, right? I mean, realistically, but it's the key to any successful business is how you execute on that idea. Yeah? How far ahead do you think about that idea from when you start your idea? Right? So, and a lot of times if you have an idea and you want to execute it on it, there should not be anything stopping you. And again, don't overthink about it. A lot of times I get people, they spend 3, 6, 12, 2 years thinking about something and they don't do it. So you just have to take that leap of faith and just do it, because I think you own it to yourself, especially at this young age, right? I mean, let's say if you guys finish school and I would still recommend to have a few years work experience first before starting out any type of companies. But after you have a few years, let's say, that's why I started my first business at 25, and I had a really good paying job at the time. I was making 100 grand US at 25, and I gave that up to start a dessert shop, right? So it doesn't make sense. And I was making less during my dessert shop than I was working, but I had much more enjoyment of doing that. And then after I learned from that, then I did hotel, then e-commerce, then what I'm doing now. All right, so again, just do it. Don't overthink things. And certainly, there's so much opportunity now in technology and in internet, healthcare, insurance. I mean, there's so much industry that needs disruption, and you just have to be able to risk it all and not fail, not have anything to support you, right? So in each of my business, I think key aspects that I went in there say, I can't fail. There's no backup option for me, right? Because if you have a backup option, that means you're not giving everything in, correct? So you just have to go all in, not have a backup option, and just propel yourself to do whatever you can for your business. Questions?
So yeah, great, thank you. I wanted to ask you what has driven you to go into so many different fields of business, and hasn't there been quite a lot of challenges in doing so, especially regarding to the lack of industry-specific knowledge?
Yes, I think for me, I love challenges, so that kind of, in a good way, bad way, it feels me, and so I think and I think right now with technology, I mean, each of these industries, I mean, from restaurants or hotel furniture or e-commerce, I had no prior experience in any of these industries or biotech, right? So what I did, I spent a lot of time on Google, right? So Google is like my best friend, right? So I think you can Google anything as long as you have information and knowledge and talk to the right people, you can find out a lot of stuff. And then so what it interests me to keep learning, right? Because especially we talk to like successful entrepreneurs, they're always learning. They never rest. They're never comfortable with what they had previously because they want to do more for themselves or for society and such, right? So I think it's just a drive to keep learning and then pushing myself, because then otherwise, if I left Group and I started just like e-com, I could have easily done another internet stuff, but that would have been a little bit boring to myself. So I wanted to challenge myself and really and learn also, right? So this gives me an opportunity to do both.
I wanted to echo Hannah's sentiments and thank you for that wonderful speech. I'm Christina from UNC Chapel Hill, and my question is regarding kind of what we've been talking about with risk taking, and I was wondering if there are ever bad risks for good entrepreneurs. Is there a point where you should just say no?
Yeah, of course, right? I mean, I think, let's say once you've done, I mean, I think most businesses, once you launch your business, and let's say after 12 months you have no customers, it's time to do something else, right? So I think you have to, at some point, take your losses and not be emotional about this. Right? Especially, I mean, I remember, actually, I started day trading when I was 18. Right? So I learned how to day trade. I woke up at 6:30 every day looking at stocks. And there's a lot of times you fall in love with the stock. You're like, oh, it's going to go up, it's going to go up, right? But then in that case, it's just, you have to cut your losses sometimes, right? It's like relationships sometimes too, right? Sometimes you have to cut your loss and move on, right?
Yeah, hello. My name is Nikolai. I'm from Copenhagen Business School. Thank you for your presentation, very inspirational. My question regards, Reynolds talks about the need to target end users. Professor or Mr. Yip talks about this, targeting the big players, maybe an industry resisting to change. You start introducing Airbnb, and a lot of modern entrepreneurial businesses are emerging from the term disruption. Yeah. So the question regards, where do you see the next disruption taking place? What industry? And what implications will it have for modern entrepreneurs?
Good question. And I was just talking to Rudy about this earlier, a few minutes at the last break, right? Insurance, I feel, has so much opportunity for innovation. I think we're already seeing it again, we're seeing it in the US and China as well. With peer-to-peer lending has taken off dramatically. But insurance insurance and healthcare is going to be the next wave of innovation, because insurance has not changed so much in the last forever, right? It's the second oldest industry. What Ruth was telling me, right? You guys can think what the first one is. Huh? But so insurance has so much opportunity to change, because right now, if you think about it, it's still a very person-to-person selling, and it's not priced well in terms of according to risk profiles. So I think that's one area. I mean, healthcare also needs a lot of change, right? Because right now, healthcare, and that's why I'm in healthcare right now, right? Our biotech company is focused on healthcare, because if you look at healthcare in general, it's treating you based upon symptoms. We have 200 people in this room. We go to the same doctor. We have the same hypertension. We'll probably get prescribed the same medication. Right? Think about that, right? So it hasn't changed for the last 50, 100 years. But right now, healthcare is changing, which we can look at an individual's DNA and prescribe the best treatment, the best medication for them based upon their molecular level. So I think innovation within insurance and healthcare is definitely primed for growth.